We are once again joined by the moderator of Meet the Press and NBC's political director, Chuck Todd. Chuck, thanks for joining us.
Happy to do so, Nick.
Chuck, if we get there, the impeachment process has to go through the House first and then the Senate, in this case Republican-controlled. With that notion, Republicans would most likely vote down impeachment. Are Democrats wasting their time?
You know, look, that I think has been the debate that they've been having when they were discussing whether to use the Mueller report as an impetus to begin an impeachment inquiry. You know, it's possible they came to the conclusion that since he made this phone call the day after Mueller testifies, and even in the phone call notes how that's sort of in the rearview mirror, and now he can get to the bottom of whatever is happening in Ukraine. I think in some ways it was almost like sticking a finger in the eye of the Democrats in the House. And so you had a bunch of them say, well, you know, it's sort of like making a threat to a teenager, to your teenager. Eventually, you better take the phone away or they're not going to believe you're ever going to do anything. So I think in some ways, the House Democrats almost backed them. Both the president and House Democrats sort of cornered themselves into this moment. But I'm not 100% convinced that by the time they come up with the charges, remember, the actual articles of impeachment, you got to vote on them. I think there's going to be a robust debate within the Democratic Party about, is it too close to the election? What would the founders have wanted? What would Alexander Hamilton have said, right? That you have an election in 14 months, and here, you know, in the modern era, the two times we've gone through impeachment were during second terms, right, when they couldn't run again, Clinton and Nixon. This is a first term. The voters can weigh in on this. Now, the other argument is the voters, nothing can stop the president from running as a former president if he chooses to as well. So, I am not one that says, let's not, you know, I don't believe everything has changed and all this, but let's not assume that it's a done deal in the House, and don't assume if it does go in the House and it goes to the Senate that everything's a done deal there. I think we've got to see everything that we learn. We're already in a different area than any of us expected to be a week ago.
Okay, well, on that note, we have heard from some Republicans concerned about all this, notably former presidential candidate and current Utah Senator Mitt Romney. Do you believe we're going to hear more from Republicans, or should we expect to hear and only see party loyalty?
I think you're going to see sort of three groups of Republicans, in elected Republicans, and how they talk about this. You're going to have the one group who are very much hardcore supporters of the president, and I think are going to be with him through thick and thin on this. You're going to have another group of Republicans who do not want to look like they're criticizing the president and will instead find ways to not criticize him, but maybe criticize Rudy Giuliani or criticize others and the behavior of others and say this just doesn't rise to the level of impeachment, maybe criticize Democratic overreach, but they will do everything they can to avoid, quote-unquote, defending the president's actions. And then there's going to be this slice of Republicans led by Mitt Romney who may be publicly critical. Is it Mitt Romney and Will Hurd and nobody else? Or is that a group that grows and grows and grows? Look, I think a lot of this depends on what more is found out, and a lot of this depends perhaps on the president's own behavior over the next few weeks as well.
And finally, I'm sure I can guess one topic, but what's all ahead on Meet the Press?
Well, we're going to have Adam Schiff, who may be leading this investigation on behalf of the House Democrats. Steve Scalise, the #2 House Republican, on, and we will be mostly impeachment, but I am sitting down with the foreign minister of Iran as well. We'll get a little bit of that in as well.
Okay, Chuck, thanks again.